What's up, everybody, and welcome to my first video. In this video, I'm just going over the process of how I created my desk for my house. So yeah, just a quick recap of what it looks like. I'm cutting it down to size, and then just the process of removing as much debris as I can from the holes and knots so the epoxy can get a good bond to it. I love showing the sanding process, only because I think a lot of videos skip this process, how long and tedious it can be, going all the way from something like 60 grit all the way up to 220 or even higher. Lots of sanding went into this project. I like my slabs to be super smooth, so I spend a lot of time on this. And just how it looks after even 60 and 80 grit, how much smoother it gets. And you're not even halfway there. But yeah, I wanted to leave the bark on this slab. It looked great, but I ran into a problem with some rot, so fortunately I had to get rid of it, but it still turned out fantastic at the end. And then there's the process of cleaning up as much of the dust as I can to get it prepped for epoxy pouring. This is one of my first times using epoxy like this, so I'm still learning, but it's pretty easy to work with. And just taping the back of the slabs, which I'm glad I did, because if I didn't, epoxy would have gone all over my floor. Kind of insane to me how deep some of the channels get and they go through the wood. But yeah, just taping these off. A lot of those little accents look great at the end, you'll see them. And maybe my biggest mistake of this project was using Windows silicone to make these channels so the epoxy didn't go anywhere. I just use black epoxy. Black epoxy looks great with black walnut, hence the name. Can't go wrong. And I learned real quick that you can use a lighter to get rid of bubbles. So that's why I'm here, and also just because I'm poor and don't have a flamethrower like some people do online. Yeah, this is my fourth time, like I said, filling this hole. I just thought it was interesting because it seemed super shallow, but there's obviously some big crevices down within that slab. But anyways, got it leveled out and proceeded. Yeah, this was interesting. There was a crack that literally ran from the top side of the slab all the way through the middle and then down to the end. But again, just filling it with epoxy gave it that little extra character. And what I did here is this is where the rot was. But once I got it all away, I actually filled enough epoxy to give it some extra character and give it just a little bit more thickness to make the slab even, because it had a natural curve at the end, kind of like what you can see here. And again, just my biggest mistake was using that silicone epoxy. It made it so hard to get off in some areas, like right here. Definitely need to figure out something different, so any suggestions are welcomed. And again, just showing some people that are new to epoxy and maybe watching this video how easy it is to just over pour and then sand it off like this, and you get these great little accents. Again, another good example of what it looks like when it's puddled on top and hardened, and then when you go over it a few times, it just evens out and it looks great. I wipe down and clean my slabs between every sanding pass. Might be a little too tedious for some people, but just makes it super extra smooth at the end. See how nice that epoxy looks? I don't know how many times I've said that during this video, but like I said, kind of new for me, and I think I knocked it out of the park. Easy mounting hardware to bolt it into the stand that I had. And then I did a wipe-on poly for this slab because I use my desk every single day of my life, and I drink a good amount of coffee and water and other things, so I didn't want to leave rings on this slab, especially with how much work and sanding time went into it. So anyways, just love the character that comes out of the wood. Just another recap of how the slab looked at the beginning, and then how great it came out at the end. I thought it looked fantastic. Like I said, all those black epoxy inlays. And I'm actually happy I didn't leave the bark on. I mean, like I said, I wish I could have to leave the character with it, but great. That's the edge I was talking about, with a little bit thicker of an epoxy pour, just to make the table a little bit more even. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more.